Hello, friends. I'm here in Sandy Point, Maine. It's right on the coast, and I'm at what is called the Narrows Cemetery. I did document this cemetery on Find a Grave about a year ago, but it's an older one, and it's a very interesting one. A lot of veterans, a lot of sea captains, but of particular interest is the family tombs that are here. So we'll walk a few. This is a family obelisk. It says, members of Company E, 19th Regiment Maine Volunteers, Sergeant Enoch C. Dow, killed in battle at Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Everybody knows about the Battle of Gettysburg. July 3rd, 1863, he was only 20 years old and 7 months, the son of Orchard C. and Jane Dow. So he was killed in the Civil War at Gettysburg. His body brought back here to Maine. As you can see, some very old stones here as well. And some newer ones, late 1800s, early 1900s. But here's one of those family tombs I was talking about. There's like a headstone on the top, and then the grave itself is probably just about 5'7" off the ground. You can see it sort of has packed earth around it. But this is the grave of Captain Benjamin Chute. Died February 13, 1872, age 84 years, 6 months, and then his wife, Sarah R., who died January 8 of 1869. She was 78 years. And then if we look down here, we have one of their sons, Samuel A. He died December 8th of 1831. 14 years, 4 days. No, I'm sorry, I misread that. It says 1831, age 4 years. So just a 4-year-old boy, obviously that early 1800s kind of headstone, whereas his parents had the more modern for the time, late 1860s, early 1870s type of stone. And they incorporated them all right here into their family tomb. There you have the, Benjamin and Sarah's daughter, Sarah A. She died February 13th, 1833, age only 1 year and 3 months. So very unusual to sort of see the headstones attached to the family tomb here. But you have this iron grate, sort of ventilation holes in it, of course. Very picturesque. And then you have some older graves coming over to the side here. You can see Daniel French died 1822, age 52 years old. His wife Elizabeth died 1850, age 66. They were born in, would have been the late 1870s. More of the old style stones all through here. Thomas Patridge Esquire died February 11, 1843, age 49. And for a compact cemetery, it looks like they use just about every piece of ground that they can. I remember this one, a very worn down stone. Looks like John Crockett. If I recall, his wife, her name was also on it, but very, very hard to read. Here we have another one of those family old style tombs built into the side of a created hill here. This is George Dow, his wife Sarah Blanchard. It says subsequently Mrs. George W. Dow. She died in 1869, age 36, 2 months, and he died December 15th, 1915, 81 years, 11 months. So can you imagine? His wife was only 36 when she died, and he died about 46 years later. An old man, 81 years old, almost 82, and they're both interred here. You can see this will last for a long, long time. It's bricked up, the entrance. Probably he's on one side, she's on another, but for the early 20th century, that's pretty good artwork. Very stylistic. You have a ship. Maybe it was the actual ship that he was the captain of right there on the stone itself. That's awesome. I'll back up so you can kind of see the whole thing. Very cool looking family tomb. And we have another captain, Captain Thomas Bowden, 1824 to 1899. His wife, Eliza A. Devereaux, 1826 to 1895. The classic Gone But Not Forgotten. It does go back a little ways. You can see the side of that family tomb there. But you have some other graves in the back. We know we're getting into the 20th century when we see these flat ground stones. Father Lewis Lord, mother, his wife, Nettie F. Grant. Some more newer ones. And you can see it goes kind of all the way to the back there, right to the edge of the woods. Kind of hilly terrain. The last of the family tombs here, and here you have actually, looks like about 11 people that are interred in this one. This one goes back a good, I would say, 20 feet. Nice packed earth all around it. And you can actually see it's made out of concrete and rocks, and it's basically a fortress. So, I'm gonna read you a few here. Evander Harriman, May 17, 1836, lost at sea, January 1897. So this would be what they call a cenotaph, or a monument to somebody not actually buried here. So the poor man was lost at sea, but they put his name there with his family. There's Mary Harriman. I don't know if it's his wife, but that Mary was born 4 years before him. Could be a wife, could be a sister. She died 1916. Wealthy, there's an old school name, Wealthy D. Harriman, 1857 to 1857, so just a baby. She lived, looks like 21 days, 3 weeks. Adeline Harriman, 1862 to 1865, another baby. And then Harold, 1902 to 1902, only lived in basically stillborn, it looks like. So May 23rd, 1902 to May 23rd, 1902. Lived and died the same day, or was stillborn. So I'm thinking probably, yeah, Evander would have been the dad, Mary was his wife, Wealthy, Adeline, and Harold were the children. You can see that door is sort of starting to decay, but good still, door still. There's a hole in the bottom over the ages. And on the other side, very well could be Evander's parents. So you have Eliakim, who was born in 1818, died 1900. Judith, 1820 to 1902. Arthur, 1843, again, likely a brother of Evander being born in 1836. Arthur passed in 1864. Ernest, 1859 to 1894. Since Angelia Ginn, November 6, 1841 to 1900. Willard Ginn, 1836 to 1927. Very, very cool family tomb there. Walk around to the side and you can see how far it goes back. It's a good, I would say, about a little higher than 6 feet from ground to roof. And there's the back of it. So then we swing around. There's those ones we looked at earlier on the edge of the woods, going down the hill. And then we kind of walk up the hill a little bit back. You see this large family obelisk. It says Benjamin Chute on that side. Thomas Kilman. There's a story right there. Sacred to the memory of Thomas W. Kilman, master of the, looks like AMR Bark Masonic, murdered by his steward. November 14, 1878 at Manila, Philippine Islands. Age 36 years and 6 months. Sarah A., wife of Captain Crocker, died July 25th, 1894, age 49 years, 3 months, 15 days. Some more family graves. There's an interesting kind of footstone for the family. I would say this one, being that close to the family obelisk, was probably a baby. And then you have Horace and Edgar. Let's see what the family name is on that. Harriman. This is a good, probably 7 feet tall. Oh, and then we have more of them. There's the mother. Looks like Martha J. Ridley Harriman. This is Ellen. And then father, who would be Joshua Harriman. So lots of old family monuments here. Here's another lost at sea. Albert H. Jen. July 19th, 1849, lost at sea. August 2nd, 1867. Helen M. Jen, March 30th, 1861, February 30, 1886. Son and daughter of Captain Alfred and Susan P. Jen. So a lot of these lost at sea and sea captains. There's the good Captain Alfred Jen, and his wife Susan, whose son Albert was lost at sea. So we're right on the edge of the ocean here, so no doubt a lot of ships left here, a lot of sea captains in the area, and consequently back then, of course, they didn't have the safety measures that they now do, so unfortunately there was a lot of at-sea deaths. Here's another one. Horace Devereux, who died at sea December 28, 1878. While in command of Brigadier Liberty on her passage from Akin, Haiti to Newport, Rhode Island, age 42 years, 5 months. Families were definitely grieving back then. A lot of deaths, a lot of risk. Martha D. died May 22nd, 1875. 6 years, 5 months. Louise L. died June 12, 1875, age 4 years, 8 days. Only children of Horace and M.A. Devereux. And here you have the early 1900 graves, another style there. This is marble, so you can tell how thick they are. And no moss on them, very few cracks in them. They didn't build them like that previously, so they were really learning how to build very stout, resilient graves back then. And then we have an older one next to them, 1875, Leslie. She was the daughter of Emma and Amos Moulton. So her grave, 25 to about 50 years before her parents, so you can tell it's a little harder shape, not quite the same materials, but it's still held up pretty well considering it's been there about 150 years. Just a quick kind of overview of some of the highlights of the Narrows Cemetery in Sandy Point, Maine.